Working with hatchcover cranes on a ship like this, it takes quite a lot of safety precautions.
Everybody must be very careful.
They can cut their hands or they can cut their body.
The most important thing is communication.
My name is Christian Brizan. I'm 42 years old. I am at sea for 18 years, from which the last 10 I've been working for Wagenborg. For now I am a captain on motor vessel Kaisersborg.
My name is Nitsu Yon. I am chief officer of motor vessel Kaisersborg. My age 36 years old. I have a long experience at sea.
My name is Matei Sergiu. I'm a second officer on board motor vessel Kaisersborg. I'm 27 years old. I've been sailing with Wagenborg for 1 year.
I'm Nelson Palorma. I'm 48 years old and I've been at sea for 26 years. I started working in Wagenborg on 2006.
The hatchcover cranes are used for the lifting and transporting of hatch covers, grain bulkheads and tween decks.
After arriving from sea into the harbor, it is important to make sure that all the cleats are unlashed, because otherwise you can get damage on the steel wire. So hatch covers properly unlashed, crane unlashed.
After arriving in port, the hatchcover crane has to be prepared for use. That means you have to remove the cross lashings from the hatchcover crane, remove the sea-fastened clamps. You also have to remove the lifting blocks and lower the hatchcover crane to the rails. Connect the power cable. Finally, you have to do a visual check of all parts for damages.
A lot of bad things can happen with this kind of crane.
A few years ago, when we were shifting the hatch cover, the spreader fell down together with the hatch cover.
Well, I would say the main risk is to rely on the past operation or the last operation on the crane. So it's routine.
Before operating the crane, I do a general check on the safety items such as the cables, wires, the combing and the railings, the wheels, emergency stop, the flashlight, the bell. To operate the crane, you need at least 3 people. One standing at the controls and 2 on each side of the crane.
And only after that they can work with the crane.
So before driving the hatchcover crane, be absolutely sure you check the following points. Are the hatch covers and rails clear of all loose parts? Make sure that the working areas are free of obstacles. Disengage all cleats and wedges. Check the operation of the alarm bell and flashlight. And of course the emergency stops.
Stop!
Also are the wheel protection covers and finger protections in place. The power cable must move freely. Check and test the communication devices. Discuss the working plan with all involved crew members and make sure they are all wearing proper protective equipment.
It is absolutely important that during working for a long time you have to stick with the procedures. If not, then nobody knows what can happen. Well, for instance, the guy who is driving the crane, he's at this vessel. He stays on the starboard side, but it's not exactly on the far end of the starboard side, so he can see only ahead and aft. But on the sides, he cannot have a look. And the cable drum is quite important, the power cable drum, that it spins freely. Otherwise, it can get stuck, and then you end up with the crane block in the middle of rain with the sensitive cargo. And on the other side, on the port side, somebody must be there to make sure that there is no people on the combing, because accidents happened before when they got hands caught by the crane.
The most important thing is communication, because you must have also a VHF radio to communicate with each other, because of the ringing bell. It's too loud.
Stop. All the time we keep it communication between us by radio and sometimes by signals, but more better by radio. If you don't follow the procedures, you can lose the hatch covers.
That's why it is important that the people who are working on the sides of the crane keep an eye on the connection of the lifting hooks on the hatch covers. Press the emergency stop immediately when the connection isn't properly made.
Better to be sure from beginning before to pick up that cover.
When handling the hatch covers, keep the following in mind. There should be no lifting with the crane when the trim exceeds 1.5 degrees or heeling exceeds 3 degrees. Always follow the lifting order. Before lifting a hatch cover, check the connection of the hooks. Always drive slow and carefully. Do not lift the hatch covers higher than necessary. Stay focused on your task. You may only leave the hatch cover crane when it is in parking position.
To ship the bulkhead, you have to prepare the electric chain block, the basket, the jacks, the crowbar, the hammers. We have to put all the equipment and the basket on top of the hatch cover, lower down the spreader, connect the chain blocks, lift up the spreader, secure the spreader to the crane, lower the electric chain block and connect the basket.
And then the person who is in the basket lowers himself. He connects the lowered hoisting cables to the bulkhead. First, there are pins on the bulkhead that have to be removed.
If the bulkhead now is free from the pin, then you can start moving the bulkhead. But first, the crew must be off of the basket for safety. Because there is a possibility that the crane will malfunction and the bulkhead will fall down and the crew will have an accident.
When handling bulkheads and tween decks, keep the following points in mind. There should be no lifting when the trim exceeds 1.5 degrees or the heeling exceeds 3 degrees. Always do a visual check of the working bins, the lifting gear, chain blocks and tools for damage. Connect the electric chain blocks to the lifting frame. Fix the lifting frame to the hatch cover. Connect the working bins to the chain blocks. Allow only one person per working bin. There should be no persons in the working bin during driving with the bulkheads or tween decks. Do not, in any case, exceed the safe working load. ship can leave the port, the hatchcover crane has to be prepared for sea. Before departure, follow these procedures. Lift the hatchcover crane from the rails and install the lifting blocks. Connect the sea-fastened clamps. Also, connect the cross lashings. Disconnect the electric power cable. Fasten all loose parts on the hatchcover crane.
A lot of bad things can happen with this kind of crane.
The greatest dangers are routine, fatigue, and working in a cold environment.
If somebody don't know his responsibility for working with hatchcovers, not good communication, possible to be a risk.
Time pressure, we deal with that in every port. You have to hurry, but you have to always remember what you have to do and keep in mind that safety is a priority.
When I'm working with a hatchcover crane, I have to be focused. Try to see that everything is okay and to work safely.
If all crew members will be carefully and they will use step by step all procedures and if there will be a good communication between crew members, I don't believe to be any accident.
It's very important that you stick to the procedures. You pass all the pre-check, both safety and operational lists, and you also communicate.